I've just seen it shrink and demise to nothing, basically.
Well, you have a look around at some of the ships running around the coast, and there's some out there that probably shouldn't be going to sea.
Ships getting flagged out to other countries, crew mannings go down, loss of personnel on board.
Under the neglect of the previous government, the number of Australian registered ships in the major trading fleet dropped from 55 to below 40. Australian registered and licensed ships have progressively lost coastal trade to overseas vessels and crew under permit. Our share of the world freight task has grown to close to 10%, but the shipping industry represents less than 1% of the world fleet.
Like, we don't have shipyards, let's start some shipyards up. Let's start our own contracting of our own work. Let's get our crews running. Let's get a proper industry that runs around Australia, which is completely surrounded by water.
Now is the time to rebuild an ailing fleet, to allow Australian shipping to compete on the same terms as their international counterparts, to deliver jobs and skills to Australian workers. It's time for a sea change in Australian shipping.
Well, we're not looking for any special favours, not looking for handouts. We're looking for long-term investment in probably one of the biggest and most important infrastructure projects that our country needs, shipping. Most of our imports and exports, more than 95%, a sizable chunk of our domestic freight economy rely on shipping. We need to have a modern, intelligent, foresighted policy that's going to deliver jobs, just as it has done in other countries that rely absolutely on shipping to be able to depend on their economic futures.
The Rudd government has seen the need for change, quickly requesting the inquiry into coastal shipping. But domestic and international shipping work best teamed together. The MUA, shippers and representatives of our biggest commodity groups, have worked to bring the recommendations, tax, regulatory and other incentives, back to the government. We must act on these key recommendations now, clearer focusing on the regulatory rules of Australian shipping to promote competition, effective taxation changes and industry support to encourage reinvestment in Australia's ageing fleet, the important fiscal measure of tonnage tax based on the size of a company's shipping fleet, an enhanced trading regime including a national maritime skills strategy to address the skills shortage, structural support for our international trading vessels, growing the business of operating ships from Australia for use in the international trades, implementing change, a shipping industry task force to begin work immediately to see this policy converted into action.
I'd just like to see a bit more emphasis on training and the government get behind it and re-advise Australian shipping.
All these changes need to happen in the next few years to get more ships on the coast. I mean, especially if you're taking Australian cargoes to Australian ports, we need to have Australian ships doing those runs.
So we need to actually build that fleet back up to start taking our work back for us, bringing it back to the Australians.
Got to get a move on. We're on the bones of our arse now economically, and we've got to get a move on. We have to be thoughtful and progressive. We've got a window of opportunity to get control of our shipping, create new opportunities, create investment, but we have to move. We need political leadership. The task force recommendations need to be done now, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Now's the time to move. Let's grab the opportunities and go for it.